Welcome back to the show, my friend. Big breaking news. Noni Madueke has agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Talk to me. What do you reckon of that?
Wow, honestly, Terry, I mean, last couple of weeks, I was thinking it's not going to happen, but my goodness me, it's actually happening. So, and to be honest with you, Terry, I feel like what Arsenal doing is not that great because Noni Madueke is a good player, but when it comes to decision making and when it comes to just taking players on and try and score a goal, that's the only problem that Madueke is having. But listen, if we if we can get either Kudus or Ethan Wanyeri, I wouldn't be that mad because both these players are really, really good. And you can see that Ethan Wanyeri wants a minute. So I think the only problem is that if he comes to Chelsea, which I really don't think that's going to happen, but let's wait and see. I don't think he's going to get enough minutes because Estevao will be playing for Chelsea after he's put brilliant performance against us earlier today, and also Neto is starting to really do well in that position. So for me, I don't think he's going to get more minutes at Chelsea. But listen, we have so many games next season: Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. So I think for me that I feel like Ethan Wanyeri or Mohamed Kudus could be a great backup for Neto because Neto last season didn't get injured, but I have this feeling that if we keep starting Neto every single game, then he's going to get a bit of injury. So I feel like adding either Mohamed Kudus or Ifeanyeri to the squad will help Neto to get more fitness. And Ifeanyeri is a really good player. I watched him for Arsenal last season. He can score goals. He can take players on. He looks a really good threat. So I wouldn't mind. But Madueke to Arsenal, honestly, I'm happy for that one. Because Madueke this season, he has some good moments, but it's more frustrating the likes, that he can't get enough goals. His decision making was poor, but you know what I mean. So listen, when it comes to Arsenal and Chelsea, we can't stop. The business can't stop. And do you know the crazy thing is, Terry? And this is where Arsenal fans really need to get angry and they must be fuming about this. Every time Arsenal players leave and they come to Chelsea, they win stuff. The likes of Olivier Giroud won the Champions League when he left Arsenal. Ashley Cole left Arsenal, came to Chelsea, won the league. So if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be absolutely fuming because Ethan Nyewe is a special talent. He's one of your best players, and you cannot sell him because he's a great backup for Bukayo Saka. Which by the way, Bukayo Saka needs some rest because you saw what happened to him last season. And if it's same thing again, then who's going to be the backup? It might be Madueke, but listen, the only way we can get him if the new deal, if Arsenal don't, if Ifeanyeri doesn't sign the new deal, that's the only way we can get him. So if I was an Arsenal fan, I'll be telling your sports directors to make sure that he signs a new deal because him going to Chelsea is going to frustrate Arsenal fans because he's a special talent. And for me, I wouldn't mind. I really wouldn't mind if we get either Kundus or Nviari because those are game changers. That's what Chelsea need if we want to take this club to the next level, which is challenge for the league, go as far in the Champions League. So we need some game changers. So yeah, man, listen, I didn't think it would happen. The likes of Ifeanyeri coming to Chelsea and Madueke to Arsenal, but it's serious, And boy, I'm not sure what you think about this, sorry, but I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be that mad, but I still think we need a new goalkeeper, a new centre back, and a striker. But listen, man, I can't be mad at that situation, to be honest.
I hear you. Listen, Elijah, thank you for coming on, mate, and we'll chat again soon, brother. Thank you very much indeed. Next on the show, we have Robert. What are you saying, Robert?
Hi, mate. So for me, I think
Can you let everyone know who you support, first of all, please, Robert?
Arsenal fan.
Arsenal fan, lovely.
So for me, the Ethan story, I think, is Chelsea can keep tabs and an eye on as many players as they want. I think the chances of Ethan and Wary going to Chelsea is fairly low. I think it's incredibly unlikely. I can keep my eye on Sydney Sweeney. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get her. Do you know what I mean? You can keep your eye on whoever you want. Doesn't mean it's happening. I think that there would be an absolute revolt in the Arsenal fans, which doesn't happen that often, we're normally quite split 50-50 for some reason, but there'd be like a 100% revolt if we got rid of Ethan Nwaneri at this stage, let alone to a London rival. I think it's never going to happen. So all you Chelsea fans, you can keep watching, you can keep looking. That's not going to happen. What could happen is the Madueke thing. But I think 50 million is just a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a player who just won't start in any important games for us. I think Saka could drop 10 stinkers in a row and no Arsenal fan is going to say, get Madueke in instead of him. The Eze thing, I think for 60, 65 million to buy a player who challenges to start, and you could easily see start 12, 15 games in a row, that's good money. 50 million for a player who is really just an upgraded Reece Nelson just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I've said all along with Madueke, if you guys are getting in for a good price and he's part of sort of the rotation of your team, then I get it. But even if you can't get Rodrigo, there are other options out there for 50, 60 million pound. Mohamed Kudus being one of them, who I just think is better. So yeah, the Noni Madueke deal is one at the prices that Ben Jacobs was talking yesterday. It just feels far too expensive, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, what I do like, though, is if you compare Arsenal's window, which we're only really, not including this little mini window, we're only really 5 days into the actual window where people can actually transfer. If you compare it to last year, where we were linked to probably 3 players, Marino, Calafiori, and then right at the end, Sterling. We weren't really linked to anyone. You didn't see us linked to players of the quality of Gyökeres and Rodrigo and Eze and people like that. I like the fact that now Berta's come in, you can tell there's a massive shift in the activity between what Edu was doing and what Berta's doing. And I think that can only lead to whether it's with Arteta or without, a much more positive business mind going forward. Because last year, the Marino thing dragged on for like 10 weeks. And the Calafiori thing dragged on and dragged on. I feel like in the next 2 weeks, we need to see these signings come in. And if we do see whether they are the ones we want or not, if you can get signings in by pre-season and you can get 4 or 5 in, that's stark difference to last year when we were getting people very late in the window, Sterling the last day, and they weren't the real targets that the Arsenal fans wanted. We wanted a striker. We wanted another creative midfielder. We wanted a winger. We didn't really get any of that. We got a left back and a central midfielder. So I think having Berta come in, you can see night and day the players we're linked with, how we're doing our business. Just like Manchester United. This time last year, Manchester United were linked with a lot of players that you thought, do they make us any better or are we staying the same? But as you've said, you're now linked with players who take you to a different level. And there's a much more balanced strategy there.
I think with timing, it's one of these things for me. I've had a lot. It's been a big conversation this summer about the timing of deals, and my view is this: the right profile is the most important. I'd rather sign the 5 most perfect players on my team on deadline day than people that are not as good earlier. Equally, then I want them at the right price. Is the next most important thing to me. The third most important thing is the speed. Now, Utopia, you want all the right players for as cheap as possible on the first day of the window so you can have a relaxing summer. But the right profiles is the most important. And that's why, again, I'll be honest with you, I actually liked quite a lot of business that Arsenal have done in years gone by. And I'm not someone who necessarily judges Calafiori because he's not a striker. I get you needed a striker, but I'm judging Calafiori as a defender and I think he's good. I think you've done a lot of good business in recent years. But this Noni Madueke one, I can't, at 50 to 60 million, it doesn't quite make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all, but we will see. Robert, definitely call in again, mate. Really good to speak to you, my friend, and we'll chat again soon.
Cheers, see you later.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Jason is on the show with us next. What are you saying, Jace?
Yeah, not too bad. Noni Madueke. I'm lost for words. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't even surprised because you know what? When that first link came out, it reminded me of that Havertz deal.
Yes.
As soon as Havertz, it reminded me so much of that Havertz deal where, yeah, we're linked to Havertz and like I'm pretty sure we're not gonna get him. But then again, whatever it is between Arsenal and Chelsea, it kind of like that. It happens like that. So it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So over the last few days, I'm just like, you know what, it's getting closer. We spoke to the camp. And we're just like, nah, it's phase 6. phase 6, and it's just like, yo, we're linked with Noni Madueke, and I'm just like, who has scored literally less goals than Martinelli, and I'm just like, as a backup player for 50 million, nah, it's not for me. When I saw the Ethan news, I'm just like, could be another Ashley Cole part 2, but I don't know. It's one of those things. Is that going to hamper Ethan's game time whatsoever? Is a player that we don't really need whatsoever. I think the left wing is important.
Yeah, you don't sound infused at all by this Madueke deal.
No chance. I don't see the hype. I don't see the point. I mean, what's the point? A right winger who's covering Saka for 50 million. I mean, why don't you just kind of like spend your money elsewhere across the squad anyway? You have different holes that you need to fill in, like you mentioned. Couple of players, like you got 8 players that has been first teamers. You need 3 more gaps to fill, like a left winger, striker, or maybe a number 8. Why not? Why are you wasting money in certain areas? So that's what annoys me at the moment.
Listen, I hear you when it comes to this. As you say, there are other players out there. I mean, they're only asking for £77 million supposedly for Rodrigo.
I'll take that in a heartbeat. Of course, we need those kind of players. We need those kind of players to kind of improve the squad. We need game changers.
But what about Mohamed Kudus? Because Mohamed Kudus is a player that Chelsea look like they're going to go for. West Ham are confident that Chelsea will put that bid in. You're talking about picking him up for somewhere in the region of £50 million. Would that be a better option in your opinion than Madueke?
100%. But at the same time, you know, we got Ethan to kind of cover Saka anyway. But at the same time, we badly need a left winger. I'm presuming that Kudus can play in the left.
I mean, he can cover there. He can cover there. Matt here has just said, could Noni Madueke be a replacement for Reece Nelson?
For 50 million.
That's the point, isn't it? Not at 50 million. Let's be honest. You don't spend 50 to 60 million pound, even in the modern day market, on a third to fourth choice winger. You are spending that much money and you're making somewhat of a statement that this person is integral to it. Maybe it doesn't start every week, but they're integral to your first team. That's too. No one drops that much amount. Can anyone even think of a backup, a genuine, like you've just signed Norgard, right? Your 5th choice central midfielder at 9 million. Can anyone think of like a 3rd, 4th, 5th choice player?
It's probably a City.
4th, 5th. How many 4th, 5th choice players have you ever seen cost 50 to 60 million? Genuinely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised. This is Arsenal Football Club. They can actually kind of like, you know, pull something out of nowhere. Like, you can surprise you out like nowhere. Like, daft ideas. Like, I'm not going to be surprised, to be honest. It's one of those things. It's just like, just get me a strike. I mean, to be fair, if it's end of the window, cool. If it's end of the window, if we signed a left winger, if we signed a cam, if we signed a striker, if we have enough money, cool. Like, if it's like 35, 40, I don't know, less than 40 million, that's fine. Like, it's just too much money, and just I don't think we need him at this moment in time. And I'm presuming that he doesn't even want to play in the left wing anyway.
Yeah, I hear that, bro. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and we'll chat again soon. Thank you, Jason. African King is on with us now. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm a Chelsea fan.
Lovely. Yeah, give us your thoughts on this deal.
For Chelsea Football Club, it's a great deal. I think to get around 50 million for Noni Madueke is a good deal, especially if it means that we get Kudus. I think that's an upgrade in that position. I think Kudus improves our attack tenfold, and then I think he's got a guy that can even start for attack. So you're looking at Gittins, Kudus, Delap. Together, I think that's a good improvement in terms of our attack, because last season our biggest issue was the fact that we weren't clinical enough when it comes to scoring goals. So I think we're adding players that are animals that press high with João Pedro and the likes of Kudus and stuff like that. Guys that can offer different options as well. And I think the thing about Madueke is, and he's been a part of Chelsea's problem, is that he's very inconsistent, especially when it comes to his shooting. So as a football fan, I don't understand why Arsenal are doing it. Because why would you help your rival with money? Because you know PSR is a big thing. Also, if they, let's say for example, they get Madueke and they go for Eze, that gives reasons for Nwaneri to leave. because he's going to have less game time. Now, he may not go to Chelsea. I don't think he'll go to Chelsea, but I think he will definitely move on because I think he's a player that's pure profit. He's young. He probably wants game time. I don't know if he has the greatest of relationships with Arteta as well. So, and Nwaneri might not go to Chelsea, but I think he's a player that definitely can move on. And I think he'd be great to go to a foreign league to get more game time and to improve his status, because you've seen it with some other youngsters that they move out of England and they do better things rather than staying at their home club where you never know if you're going to get the game time. And especially when Saka has been injured, Arteta hasn't played Nwaneri in the right wing for the most part. He's actually it took him a long time for him even to start Nwaneri as well. So, and then even when Odegaard's been out, he hasn't put Nwaneri in like that. So for me, I think if I'm Ethan and I'm looking at the situation and I'm looking at the signings they're looking to bring in, and they get those signings, then I'm looking to go on the way out, and not sign the contract and move on. Because I don't as a youngster, you want game time, and the moves that Arsenal are looking to make, there's all the players that are going to take up his positions. So that's why I think.
I agree. I don't necessarily think it'd be Chelsea. You make a good point there. We brought Chelsea up earlier, but I do think that with the players they're bringing in, if it's Madueke, if it's Eze, and Odegaard and Saka can't be removed for either being in great form or being the manager's favourites, there is a world where he maybe looks to move on. I don't think that is. I don't think that's undeniable in any way, shape, or form, mate. Listen, great call. I appreciate that a lot, my friend, and we'll chat again soon.